Welcome to another episode of 20 Before 20. In today's episode, I will be talking about 20 things. You're like, what do you mean by 20 things, Tiana? And I'm like, chill, I'm about to explain it. So these are things that if somebody else came up to me and was like, hey, I want to come up with a list of 20 things I should experience before I turn 20. Or, oh, what experiences should I go through? What events should occur in my life? What challenges should I do? Just random things that I have experienced that I would like to talk about. Yeah. So to differentiate, the list that I'm actively doing, which is creating the whole series, 20 Before 20, is about a list I intentionally made to film each activity that I'm looking forward to doing specifically before I turn 20. While this list that I'm doing for this episode is just activities that just happen to have happened in my life, and I'm like, oh, let me make a video about it. Even if they're not events, just things that I would like to talk about. And there's gonna be one of each category or thing until there's 20 of them. So without further ado. I've been patiently waiting for my time. Okay, so the first thing on the list is one boarding school experience. I've been to 2 boarding schools in my life. I went to St. Patrick's International School in Blantyre, Malawi, and I went to Interlochen Academy of Arts in Traverse City, Michigan. And boarding school is so interesting. I only spent 2 years in boarding school, so I did 1 year at each school. And you guys, I don't think I've said this before, but I changed schools so much growing up, so hence the 1 year at each school. But it was very interesting. I would recommend boarding school. It definitely teaches you independence. It gives you a social advantage because you've been in a space that other people still might never even get to be in. But also, if you're gonna go to college, it's early experience. Because I went to boarding school in high school, so you get that advantage also of, oh, I kind of know this routine. That's pretty nice. One kiss. Speaking of boarding school, that was kind of my naughty era, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not gonna be able to finish this video. But yeah, we weren't allowed to, like, obviously kiss because it was at St. Patrick's, but there was this guy and there was me, and we had feelings for each other. And I'm praying that my parents are not watching this. If you know me in real life, just pretend that I'm a different person for now. Yeah, that's that. I had my first kiss in boarding school with said guy, which will lead us to the other one thing. Well, technically the third thing. One boyfriend. Also, I'm gonna be saying the things on the list as if I'm telling you you should experience one this before you turn 20. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, one boyfriend, or in terms of whoever you are, whatever person you'd be interested in. So this guy that I kissed in boarding school, he was also my first boyfriend, but we dated before the kiss, and it only lasted a week. I'm spilling all my business today. And yeah, when we made out, it was like we had some situationship fling going on, and he was honestly kind of Mr. Manipulator. Like, he was pretty slick about this type of stuff. But yeah, moving on. One road trip. Oh my gosh. I don't think my brother wants me to be telling this story, but I'm so sorry. This is kind of tea, and it's a YouTube channel. Like, we like tea, and I'm Tiana, so you guys are having tea with Tiana. So if you're not sipping some tea right now, go make yourself some tea. I don't know if you like tea with popcorn, but feel free to do that because this video is about to get into it. Anyways, so it was my aunt's wedding, and we traveled to Bwanje, which, if you're not from Malawi, Bwanje is considered, at least the way I would describe it to someone from the States, is Bwanje is the country. So my grandma literally has a farm and animals, and she owns the land there, so it really is giving that. And one of my aunts got married, and now we're going back home, so it's a road trip. It's me, my siblings, my parents, and maybe one relative, maybe a cousin or something. And we stop at a gas station for gas, And then, you know, if you're doing a long road trip, you take a bathroom break too when you're traveling. So I think it's my brother stops to use the bathroom, and then everyone's in the car, we're about to leave, we start driving. Maybe 30 minutes later, my brother's like, oh my gosh, my phone. We're like, what do you mean your phone? He's like, my phone! Checks in his pockets, his bag, his phone's not there. Then we drive all the way back to the gas station, find his phone in the bathroom still, and then we just go back. We just continue our drive. But that was crazy because those public bathrooms in Malawi at the gas stations, they lock the bathrooms. And also, by the grace of God, his phone is still there. Somebody could have gone in and taken it. Crazy. Anyways, one award. I won an award in primary school, which here would be equivalent to, I think, elementary school. But I used to be really, really into sports, like way more than I am now. And I ran in school. At that time, we didn't even call it track. It was just a race, you know? And then there was other sports going on, other athletic stuff, but I ran, and I think I got second place. I know at some point I got first place, but the time I won an award, like an actual medallion, I was not first, but I won that award. So, well, I guess the medallion's the award. Yeah. One TV show. When I was young, I was obsessed with The Next Step. It was my favorite show in the world, and that's the reason I started dancing. That's the reason I became a dancer, because I loved that show so much. My favorite characters were probably James and Riley, I think. But that was one TV show I really liked growing up. Yeah, experience having a favorite TV show or one from your childhood. One song. Okay, I was gonna talk about Indecisive because it was my debut single, but I want to talk about a song that people don't really know about, which I titled Home in a Little Bit. And it was the first time I went to an open mic and performed a song that I had written. And I didn't at the time have any instruments or band lab beats or anything. I just took my tiny djembe drum, and then my djembe drum's up there, and then let me bring it out. She's cute. And I just made a rhythm, and then I sang at the open mic. And I don't think I posted that performance. It was only me, Mr. Rob, and Ann, and they're the only people who kind of experienced that with me. And it was just such a beautiful moment, because that was maybe a few weeks before my EP was gonna drop, so I was just beginning to share my music at the time. So yeah, I'm very nervous to perform it because it's the first one that I've written fully that I'm performing, and the first time it's being performed live. But here we go. My dance, I get a scholarship, you get to go abroad sick, and I get my flowers, but then I watch them die. Some happiness don't last, I've learned to say goodbye. Do it, forget all that for now. I know I'm going home in just a little bit, and just one dance performance or dance. You should experience performing at least one time in your life. I'm just gonna say, even if you're not the artsy person, just do one performance, please. That is such a beautiful experience. And one beautiful experience that I really love was at my high school. We had a talent show, and I wanted to dance with my friends. I asked so many people to dance with me, and nobody could perform with me. So then I decided to drop out of the competition after I had out of the talent show after I'd already signed up. And then I got an email maybe 2 days before the audition saying, hey Tiana, you signed up for the audition, but you haven't sent me your materials. I need a headshot, I need this, I need that. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like, what am I supposed to do? No one wants to perform. Not no one wants to, but no one can perform with me. But I still want to be in the show. And also, they're emailing me, so what do? I just have to submit something. So I just put together a few songs, came up with a dance routine like the day before the auditioned with it, and then they were like, okay, yeah, you're in the talent show. And then I performed at the talent show and I won, which was crazy considering I felt like I shouldn't have even been there. I felt like I was at a new school. This was my second semester at the school, and I just felt, oh, I'm not ready. I need friends to dance with. Oh, I need more choreography experience. I need this, I need that. I felt like I wasn't meant to even be in the competition in the first place. and then I performed in one, and that was so special to me. That money was put to good use. In one of the episodes before this, I talk about how I wanted to do skincare one day for episode 6, self-care, skincare, take care of myself, but I didn't even have enough money. And like at that point I was really struggling, but I still had the money from the talent show. I literally had the exact bill, and I was just holding it off because I knew in emergencies I would need it. And it came in handy, and I'm so grateful for that experience. One job. Oh my goodness. I don't want to talk about this too much, but my first job, I worked as a cashier, and I stayed with the company for 2 years, and it did change my life. It taught me so much. I met amazing people, and I cherished that experience so much. If you haven't had a job yet, I encourage that. I got my first job when I was 17, and I haven't stopped working since. But you know, life is a growing experience. You don't start something and stop. You grow, you expand, you know. And I'm just going to talk about this particular story. So I worked with the company for over a year at this point when I was in Michigan, and then I was going to college in Connecticut, so I had to transfer my job too. So I started working at Walmart in Connecticut, and my first day there, you know, they put me at the register, and they're like, okay, you know, we're gonna have someone watch over you, make sure you get adjusted to the system, but we know you kind of already know the stuff. So after working, I don't even know how long my shift was that day. I think it was 6 hours. So after working maybe 3 hours, they said, girl, you're good. We've taught you all the stuff that, you know, you would need to know. The person who was watching you and the person you can ask for help is going to be right behind you, right next to you. They're going to be at a different register, but you're good. So I'm like, okay, bet. I start working the register. I hear some person complaining, screaming at the top of their lungs, F this store, F Walmart, F this, F the S, swearing it on, going off so pissed. He was so mad. And then after that, I think he kind of noticed that it was me and maybe a few other people who were young. So he said, excuse my language. And then, but he was just like some crazy dude, to be honest. I think he was a crackhead and a meth head or something head. He was definitely not a painted head. But anyways, long story short, it was the end of the day, and he had been in the store at this point for maybe 3 hours, and it would get quiet sometimes, and then he would start screaming at someone again, and then it would get quiet. But at this point, it's kind of getting loud, and I turn around to see what's going on, and it looks like he's fighting with one of the management. And I don't remember exactly what she said, but I'm pretty sure she said something along the lines of, you want to go? We could go. And it seemed like they were fighting each other, but people were pulling them back. And after the noises I heard, like, you know, when people are fighting, you just hear weird noises. I'm like, oh, okay, so they're fighting on my first day. And then the person who was helping me, who was supposed to watch over me, came up to me and was like, this happens every day. Don't sweat it too much. Don't worry about it. Excuse me? I'm packing my bags and leaving. Cause what are you talking about? I'm not, bro. Anyways, that was the crazy story. Eventually the police came and the dude started apologizing, and he was saying, by the time I stayed till closing and the store was empty, the customers were gone, and then the dude started apologizing to the police. Oh, I don't know what to go with me. I'm sorry. That's the crack. It expired. That's why you're acting like that. Anyways, next, one heartbreak. So I feel like I want to make a full video about this story because this story is kind of juicy. But anyways, there was this guy that I became really close with, and by close with I mean even till today I've never been so close with anyone the way I was with him. And that I mean emotionally, mentally. We talked about so many things about our future, our fears, our life goals, our hopes and dreams, and we always supported each other and encouraged each other, and we would talk every single day. And he is one person that I felt really comfortable opening up to, and I really have a really hard time opening up and talking about things. But with him it was easy, and we created a safe space where we could both just talk about anything, no judgment-free zone. And it was just a really special bond to me, and I thought he was my end game, but sadly guys like us don't get the girl. In the words of Oliver Queen,
guys like us don't get the girl.
Okay, not that guys like us don't get the girl, but dude dipped and got with somebody else, and I was like, oh, that's cute. Apologies were made years later, but it's not like I didn't go through the heartbreak. I still experienced it, and that was that. One sport. I would encourage anyone, if you're looking for a 20 before 20, if you're looking for, oh, what should I experience in my life? Or if you're just thinking, what's one thing I should try, Tiara, that I should try? A sport. One sport. When I was younger, I played netball. And I was in love with the sport. If I wasn't being an artist right now, a dancer or anything, I would definitely be a netball player. Even today, like, if I got the opportunity, I would drop everything and go be a netball player because I love the sport with a passion and I felt comfortable, you know? We always anyone appreciates a space where they feel like themselves, they feel comfortable, they feel like their qualities are appreciated, and I felt like that netball. Fun fact, I was the netball captain at ABC when I went there for a year. Another school that I only went to for a year, and that was amazing. I was so happy, bro. I just loved playing netball after school every day. Anyways, one college experience. I kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, saying that when I transferred jobs, it was because I was going to a new school. So that was my college experience. Maybe I'll make a video about this one day, but our dorm room had rats, and that was not cute, but story for another day. One flight or solo travel. So I don't think a lot of people know about this, but I was born in Michigan, and then we went to Malawi because my family's from Malawi. So for my parents, they were going back, but for me and my siblings, we were going to Malawi for the first time. I lived there for a long time. Eventually, blah blah blah, I started doing ballet, and then I had an opportunity to come back to the US and do ballet more seriously. So for me to come back, it was right after COVID. And the only way and I was going for a summer intensive. So the only way the plans could be made in that certain amount of time that we had were for them to book me a solo flight. So I had to fly from a different continent to a new continent on my own. Not only was that crazy and scary and intimidating, but my flight didn't go straight. It had to stop somewhere, and I had to spend the night in a different country that I've never been to with no one that I know, and then get on my next flight and go back to for me to go back to the US. Wow. And I still can't believe I did that. I mean, I can, but I was 15 when that happened, so that's crazy. That's crazy. But I had to lock in, and the Holy Spirit guided me. Thank you, Jesus. But spending the night in Addis Ababa was just such an experience. I had so much fun. I might be able to put some of the footage in this video because I actually got video of that. I didn't even know I would start a YouTube channel by that time in my life, but I guess I had it in me. I guess I knew something would brew. Anyways, moving on. One wedding. If you have lived your whole life, if you're watching this video and you haven't been to a wedding before, bro, you need to go to a wedding. You need to see some love. Someone about love. If you've lived this whole time, maybe you're about to turn 20, and you haven't gone to a wedding, what are you doing? You should be getting married then. Find any reason. Go to a stranger's wedding. Do something. Go to a wedding, okay? You need to experience a wedding. I don't think there's people who have gone 20 years of their life without going to a wedding. I don't really know if that's possible. But if it is, go to a wedding. It's such a beautiful experience, especially the way we throw weddings. Hey, weddings in Malawi are just so fun, beautiful. The music, the dancing, the food, and I got to be a flower girl in my aunt's wedding, which was amazing. But yeah, experience going to a wedding. I went to a wedding recently. It was May 24th. Today is August 11th. So less than 3 months ago. Yeah, less than 3 months ago. It was in Alabama, which was my second time in the South. I've been to Florida. But that was so fun, and it was my family, friends, and I got to say a speech. Well, I said an excerpt from a poem for their wedding, and they asked me to do it, and I was like, that's so sweet. But it was such a beautiful time. Yeah. One diet. If you have never challenged yourself, challenge yourself. I mean, I wouldn't encourage anything dangerous, but say, oh, for this month, I'm just not going to eat vegetables. For this month, I'm just not going to eat red meat. For this month, I'm not going to eat rice, carbs, something like that. I don't know what religion you are. I grew up Catholic, and so we do Lent, and I would go that period of time without eating meat. my family. Oh, no, we don't eat meat on Fridays. But recently, me and my sister went on a diet because we were like, ooh, girl, new year, we're about to lock in with our health journey. And we did. We stopped eating red meat for a period of time. And there was certain things we also stopped eating. But it's very good to try different things. You know, if you're super used to something, you know, change it even for a short while just to have that experience. Okay, one camping trip. So when I was at ABC, the school I mentioned playing netball at, we were reading a book called The Lord of the Flies. If you haven't heard of it, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't recommend it, you know, unless you want to get into reading. I would say it's an important book. I hear about it frequently. So yeah, but also if you're just a chill person and you're not actually looking to read a book, I wouldn't go out of my way and say, you should read this. Yeah. Anyways, my butt, dang, I've been sitting for a while. Because we were reading this book in school, and this book is based outside in a forest on an island, we had a trip based on the book where parents could come, family could come, but we went to Zalanyama, which was a location where people could camp. It was really fun. I shared a tent with, I think, my friend and maybe her parent or something like that. And was it giving the Oliver Queen experience? Maybe not, but I didn't even know who Oliver Queen was at the time. That was my night under the stars, even though I didn't get out of the tent to look at the stars, because why would I do that? But I slept outside, okay? And I love that it was based on a book. The book is violent though. In the book, they were killing each other and doing crazy things. We were civil about it. Anyways, one life skill. You should experience, you should know, you should attempt, and you should try to learn one life skill. You know, driving, cooking, swimming, whatever. My mom drilled cooking into my system, so I know how to cook for the most part. I don't really particularly enjoy it. I try to get the fastest meals possible. Noodles, mac and cheese, microwavable foods, DoorDash. I'm like a DoorDash expert, VIP, DoorDash president. I don't know. I just pretty experienced with DoorDash, you know. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, I'm gonna say this. Recently, I DoorDashed
food. And in my neighborhood, deliveries, packages, DoorDashes, that's dangerous. People snatch that so quickly. Hey? Jesus. So, of course, okay. So I'm getting back from work. I'm ready to eat lunch. When I get home, I turn the corner. I see our doorstep. No food, nothing. But I almost lost my brain cells because I'm thinking, the Dasher said it got delivered 4 minutes ago and it's gone? Somebody picked up my food in 4 minutes? Dang, you guys are quick. I got pissed. I got upset. I started messaging my driver, where's my food? I'm hungry now. Oh, okay. Now I'm doing too much. But I messaged my DoorDasher asking for my food. And then he took a little while to respond. But he said that he knocked on my door and I wasn't there, so he's taking the food back to the store. I said, turn around, please. Make a U-turn. Can you please bring me my food back? I'm polite about stuff, but I'm also like, dude, no. Like, just drop. I literally put in DoorDash the instructions. Leave it at the door. Like, I'll come and get it. Bro started to have a mind of his own, which, honestly, after you hear the story, I'm like, okay, respect. But anyways, so bro's like, okay, I'm turning around. But DoorDash, once you deliver the food, or I don't know how it works, I'm pretty sure that they take the address away. So I'm thinking, how are you gonna know how to get back to my house? So I'm thinking, well, if you know how to get back to my house after claiming that you didn't deliver my food, that's actually creepy. How do you know how to get back to my house? So anyways, then I just waited. I waited, and he said 15 minutes. And then I waited, and I heard nothing from him. I messaged him, oh, how close are you now? He didn't say anything. So I'm thinking, bro, this is a scam. Bro's either eating my food right now, or I don't know what's going on. So I went in DoorDash, and I said, I didn't get my food. Also, bro, I was so hungry this day. Like, I was so hungry. But also, like, bro, I've been scammed before, so at this point I'm kind of fed up. I'm just thinking, nah, he's not coming back. He's probably eating the food right now. I'm thinking, it was a box of pizza. I'm thinking, bro, there's probably one slice left. He's gonna bring me back and be like, oh, I think someone ate some of this. I don't know what's going on. I didn't know what to expect, so I just did what I felt was smart. And I'm thinking I'm not getting my food, and I have to eat because I have to go back to work, and I don't want to go back shaking. So I put in DoorDash, hey, I didn't get my food. They're like, we're sorry about that. Bro was actually true to his word and starts pulling up, and then he brought me my food, and he was like, sorry. People were told not to drop a food because it gets stolen. And I'm like, oh, he's actually a really good person. He's actually like caring, like, oh, thanks. And then I get my food, I eat, I'm happy, and then I also get DoorDash credits, and life is good. Anyways, moving on, one club or party.
I don't think I've ever been to a club. No, I've been to a club. Yeah, I don't really know. I've been to a college party. I've also been to a bar, which I was gonna put on 20 before 20. I was like, oh, before you turn 20, experience going to a bar, which some bars are 18 plus, you know. Well, no, that's not true. Wait, are they? To be honest, my memory, forget everything I'm saying. The point is, when I was in college, I went to a college party, which I always wanted to experience, which if I started 20 before 20 at that time, I would have put it on the list, like, go to a college party. But it was fun. I eventually left because I was like, nah, I'm leaving with my friends. And then we just heard maybe a few days later that the college party that we left, it got shut down by campus security. And I was just thinking, I'm so glad I did not stay as long as I thought I would. Or I'm glad I didn't stay longer. But I don't know, I always get worried about parties and stuff because I'm not gonna lie, I'm a black girl. And if they come in and they think, oh, underage drinking is going on, oh, we're taking you. And I don't know, I just kind of get in my head about it. I've also watched movies where they just always, there's something going on. So I try to stay away from that. But don't get it twisted, I love a good dance. Where's Joelle?
On the dance floor. Anyways, moving on.
One hair change, just in case you guys haven't noticed. In case you haven't noticed, I have locks. They're micro locks. They started as 2-strand twists. And I got them 3 years ago. It's going to be officially 3 years in a week or two because I got them on August 22nd, 23rd-ish. And I didn't always have locks. I had an afro for my whole life. Well, not an afro, but I just didn't have locks. You know, I'd be in braids, I'd be in cornrows, I'd be in something. But now I have locks, and it's a pretty drastic change because they're technically permanent unless you shave bald or brush them out, or if you let them grow out. But for the most part, like, they're permanent. So that's pretty drastic. Last but not least, one accomplishment. So this is not your typical accomplishment. This is probably not what you're expecting, but something I'm very proud of and I feel accomplished of is having a relationship with God. God is my priority in life. I always want to stay close to him, and I know I can only be successful with God by my side. I will say though, it's difficult. You know, I struggle sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But I push and I try to get closer and closer with God as much as I can in this day and age, you know. But that's something that I'm proud of, because when I decided to strengthen my relationship with God, it wasn't because so-and-so said so, because somebody told me. It was for me. I made that decision for myself, and I see it as my relationship with God. Not anyone else, not anyone else's business, but just something that I'm proud of choosing for myself. That's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm gonna go over the list really quickly, just in case you want a list like this and you want to do a 20 before 20, or if you want a list of life experiences suggested to you, this is the list.
1 boarding school experience, 1 kiss, 1 boyfriend or partner, 1 road trip, 1 award, 1 TV show, 1 song, 1 dance performance or performance, 1 job, 1 heartbreak, 1 sport, 1 college experience, 1 flight/solo travel, 1 wedding, 1 diet, 1 camping trip, 1 life skill, 1 club/party, 1 hair change, and 1 accomplishment. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day. Yeah, it's 20 before 20, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm so happy that we're this far into the 20 before 20 list, and have a beautiful day. Mwah!